Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel, and I take issue with parts of the article on your screen right now, which is titled Ripple versus SEC, Time for XRP Traders to Play It Safe, question mark, which is why my voice goes up like that. And this comes from AMB Crypto. Now, I noticed that fairly frequently there are articles which, the approach that they take a lot of the time, and it depends on the author, some are worse than others, but they'll take this tone where it's kind of neutral, but there's always these parts that just pop out at you as framed in a very negative way. It jumps out at me. I read tons of crypto media, certainly specifically on XRP, and it just jumps out on me. Not every media outlet writes about XRP in such a manner, so when they do with a fair level of consistency, depending on the author, it jumps out at me here. And so I take a little bit of issue with that because it makes me wonder, what the hell are you actually doing here? Because, this idea, look, and I'm not telling anybody to, buy or not buy anything. I don't care. It's your money. I'm not telling you what to do. But in terms of this question, is it time to play it safe? And then the framing of the XRP ecosystem now as though there's these negative things and, oh gosh, man, we're getting a little too excited about XRP, so on and so forth. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Well, look, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll tell you this. With the conclusion of the SEC v. Ripple case, my God, what an incredible risk-reward ratio there, I think. And fine, I understand that price could go down if we get some bad ruling, but my God, is that what most people think is likely to occur? I mean, I think people following the case understand that in terms of whether or not an asset itself is or is not a security, I think that's pretty damn clear. The asset itself is never the security. Well, given that's a fact, what do you think ultimately happens long-term with XRP? Then there's also this from the Crypto Basic Ripple report. Payments top use case for crypto. Tokenized assets to hit $16 trillion. And so this is fascinating because you're talking about an increasingly liquid world and a world that needs to be bridged increasingly as a result of this. And what cryptocurrency is being positioned for such a thing? And so they're talking about $16 trillion in tokenized assets. Well, what about just cryptocurrencies like XRP themselves? Can you imagine, you fast forward a decade, like the cryptocurrencies that are going to be at the top in terms of market cap, shouldn't some of them have by then, wouldn't you think, like perhaps even multi-trillion-dollar market caps? And before going further, though, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, let's get to the part that burns my biscuit, son, just to get things rolling a little further here. So to the AMB Crypto article titled Ripple versus SEC, Time for XRP Traders to Play It Safe, question mark. And like I say at the outset, they're doing the thing they do where there's these innocuous comments and perspective that's just fact-based and stuff that's been happening within the XRP ecosystem and having to do with the SEC v. Ripple case, and nobody's going to take issue with these things. But then they frame it with some negativity when, I think if you're being objective here, if you want to properly frame this, maybe you don't look over a span of what's happened in a few days, what's happened over much of this year, if anything. And how developments in the legal world surrounding the SEC v. Ripple case, how developments on those lines, how has that impacted XRP price and ecosystem and on-chain metrics? What about that? But that's not what they're doing here. So I have this little subheading in the article titled Traders Play It Safe. Ooh, better be safe out there, right? And I'm not saying being reckless. I'm just bitching about the way that they're framing this. Check it out. Many in the crypto space believe that the disclosure of the Hinman documents will provide Ripple enough ammunition to win this case, impacting XRP positively. However, traders don't quite share the same belief. This is why we cannot have nice things. This is why we cannot have nice things. This is so stupid. I'm sorry, traders don't quite share the same belief? And you know what they do to prove that point? And they fail at proving the point. You know what they do? They talk about an incredibly short time. Like, can you imagine if I point to, like, I don't know, just say like a 1 minute candle for XRP and it's down and it's like, ooh, things not looking good, so good for XRP. Like a 1 minute, can you imagine if I did that? This is almost as stupid as that. It's almost as stupid. Conceptually, it's equally stupid. Let's go a little further though. According to CoinGlass's data, the sentiment of traders has been rather negative as short positions taken against XRP have risen over the last few days. Oh, give me a freaking break. And again, the reason I'm taking the time to bitch against this is because I notice this pattern with AMB crypto. If this were an outlier, I don't know that I'd necessarily take the time to bitch up a storm about this. But son, you done ground up my gears real good here. Stop it. This is why we cannot have nice things. Because in reality, if you look, my God, XRP price action. If you consider like a couple of the bigger moves, and certainly there was, even if you go back to the beginning of the year, sure, because crypto was moving up in general. But you want to talk about something specific to XRP and what's happened with the SEC v. Ripple case? Well, what about when the expert testimony decision was made by Judge Torres at the beginning part of March? XRP shot up, didn't it? XRP was up to 58 cents. And then when we had the decision from Judge Torres about the Hinman-related emails, I'm sure all of you know by now, we're going to get those by June 13th. That's the deadline. What happened? XRP price went up. Doesn't that show a lot of confidence based on perspective that we can see from Judge Torres, which is in favor, presumably, of Ripple and XRP holders, or at least most importantly, XRP holders? What about that? You know, so there's the price action there, and you can look at volume too. By the way, the 24-hour volume for XRP, $719 million according to Litecoin Watch. $719 million. That's pretty normal. And so we're at a point in time where recently, over the last week, I mean, there actually has been, especially in recent days, a bit of downward price action just for crypto in general. XRP is still hanging around 46 cents. It's not like there's, a notable, downward slope in terms of XRP's price. It's not like there's less interest in terms of the volume. Those metrics are up there. So how dare you look at a few days and then just put this negative crap out there? To me, the reason I'm highlighting this, I just think it shows bias, and if somebody just has a negative bias and they're pretending that they're just reporting on something, I'm just going to call it out. That's what it looks like to me. This doesn't make sense. It's incoherent nonsense. It doesn't help anybody. It's just somebody's bias and they slap it down and here's news. I don't think so. You bunch of C students, that don't make any damn sense. Ought to have been this bitch. Piece continues. Over this period, XRP's price also fell. Oh my God. So again, just imagine, here's a 1 minute candle, XRP's price is down, and right here they're looking at a span, they're talking about a span of days. They already cited in the article, I just read it, it's on your screen right now. So over this period, XRP's price also fell. At press time, it was trading at 45.3 cents. What do you know? Now it's higher than that. What was it? It's 46.4 cents now. 46.4 cents. So it's up. There you go, even from the time of this publishing. Because the short term, like you're talking in that short a time frame, it's just stupid. And then they note the network growth of XRP has decreased as well, indicating that new users aren't as interested in buying XRP. You're looking at a ridiculously short time period. That is useless information. You just want something to be true. Well, I don't know what your motive is, but I'm highlighting that. And now I'm sharing it on my channel because thankfully I have a platform where I can call out crap like this because it just doesn't make sense. Weird bias. I don't know what your motivating factor is. It's stupid though. Because the truth is that XRP just continues to get adopted. More developers building on top of the XRP ledger year over year. Clearly this year, very positive overall in terms of price action, in terms of legal developments, broadly accepted amongst XRP holders as very positive for the future of XRP. It's not hard to find positive, genuinely positive, and for good reason, news out there. And so to look at a few days of, this or that, and it's something's a little bit down, and then to draw that, what are you doing out there? So look at this, and to paint the picture of the future of XRP, nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. I always acknowledge that. But don't things look pretty damn good for XRP right now in terms of true long-term viability? Consider, XRP's been around now over a decade. In fact, we're coming up technically on the 11-year birthday, the 11th year anniversary of XRP itself. It was the beginning of June of 2012, and it was technically created, finally. And it just continues to get adopted. So it's clearly going in the right direction. Why wouldn't we be excited about that? Because we know that the best use case, the most obvious one, is payments related. And so I remember when I started my channel, I brought up this point multiple times. I used to talk about it more back then, but I remember bringing up the point, and I still think it's true and makes sense. The first proposed use case for a cryptocurrency was obviously, in the Bitcoin white paper, Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer cash system. So just using Bitcoin specifically for that purpose. That's the first proposed use case for a cryptocurrency ever, right? And not that won't happen in some sort of notable way. It happens today technically, but to a very small degree. Almost nobody's using cryptocurrencies to buy stuff on any sort of regular basis. It doesn't mean it won't be there in the future. It could. It's very plausible, in fact. XRP could be used for that purpose. But what's interesting to me is that XRP, of course, came after Bitcoin, technologically superior, fantastic, I argue the best cryptocurrency on the entire planet for payments. And it also has something that you can't program into it, which is liquidity, has real-world adoption. So it's just fascinating to me that, so yes, it's true, you could even have XRP used as in place of actual money in the future. I'm not ruling that out either. But it's just been fascinating to me that, perhaps one of the earliest major use cases that I think is going to achieve incredible adoption, and we're already seeing it go that way right now anyways, with XRP, positioning XRP as a bridge currency. It's one of the most, one of the earliest ideas, not the very earliest, the idea for Bitcoin in place of money, peer-to-peer cash system, yeah, sure. But it's just kind of interesting that you could first have a cryptocurrency like XRP bridge everything that needs to be bridged, and then in the future, well, what if XRP is the one, because it's so adopted at that point, it's so liquid and it's so perfect for payments, what if way later that use case is fully realized and it's XRP? And it's just, we'll see how it unfolds, but it's certainly plausible. And it's just kind of funny to me that one of the first idea for crypto ever proposed in terms of utility might be among the last to actually be adopted in any sort of notable way. Seems like that could be a reasonable natural progression. We'll see how it unfolds, but I remember thinking that back in 2017, and now here I am, much more informed than back then, over 5 years later, and I still think, well, yeah, that actually still makes sense. Because stuff it's always going to need, you're not going to have a trading pair for every possible asset on every single exchange the world over. You're never going to have every single asset on one exchange where everybody goes. That's never going to happen. And because you could never even have enough liquidity. So even if you technically programmed every single pair into a platform, is there even liquidity for it? It's not possible. It's not going to happen. You're always going to need a bridge for assets. And in an increasingly tokenized world, that means that there's more need for a cryptocurrency to be positioned as a bridge currency, and XRP is perfect for that. So the more you increase the velocity of not just money, but anything of value that's tokenized, the more you're going to need something to bridge it. That is XRP. XRP is the only one that's really in any sort of notable way being adopted for this. I mean, you can talk about stablecoins, this or that, but of course, then you get into all of the issues that we already know in terms of, okay, well, then you're back with a central authority, and it's backed by something. There's the counterparty risk. You don't have that with XRP, which is decentralized. So anyway, here's the article from the Crypto Basic. Ripple report payments top use case for crypto, tokenized assets set to hit $16 trillion. The latest report from Ripple reveals payments as the top use case for holding crypto, as well as a projection that the tokenization scene would grow to $16 trillion by 2030. Ripple, a leading blockchain technology company, has unveiled the latest iteration of its value report. The recent report, dubbed Crypto Trends in Business and Beyond, emphasizes the dominance of payments as the major use case for digital assets, as well as a projected $16 trillion valuation for the tokenization scene. The report represents the second in the series and provides valuable insights into global sentiments and perspectives towards cryptocurrencies, digital assets, and blockchain technology. So divided into 3 sections: tokenize, manage, and move. The report surveyed over 1,700 finance leaders from financial institutions and enterprises, focusing on decentralized finance, tokenization, central bank digital currencies, and payments. Now, one of the key findings from the report, and listen up, folks, one of the key findings from the report is that the top use case for digital assets is, drum roll please, payments. Well, I'll be gosh darned. How about that? And so, of course, the other article over at AMB Crypto, they would have focused on, XRP's price down over like 5 minutes. Well, what about the most important and obvious use case staring us in the face? Payments. How about that? Well, color me surprised. I just learned about that today. Piece continues. This indicates that the majority of individuals involved in the crypto scene leverage digital assets for payments. According to the survey, 44% of global finance leaders see payments as the most mature and likely gateway to crypto adoption. Folks, I just got to pause again. I have believed this to be very probable since my earliest of days in crypto back in 2017. I was talking about it in the earliest of days of my YouTube channel in 2018 and early in 2019. All that way back. Because it works today, and you don't need to onboard people to use crypto specifically for daily purchases, where they're going to Starbucks or whatever, they want your overpriced coffee, whatever. You don't need to do that. With XRP being used in the plumbing, it helps the everyday person, and they wouldn't even necessarily know that they're, because they don't know how the sausage is made, they wouldn't even know that XRP is bridging currencies getting used in the background. But then people who are in crypto are aware of that, spurring adoption further, increasing volume. And then as people do ultimately get onboarded into crypto, XRP will just be at the top, towards the top in terms of market cap. So when people are ready to come in, be like, what's this thing? It's towards the top. Let's research this a little bit. How about that? And it's actually getting used today. And there isn't any sort of impediment in terms of this type of utility being used way more broadly. It's available. It works right now today. You don't have to convince people to do pretty much anything. Well, not like you would in terms of if you're trying to get somebody to use a cryptocurrency in place of their fiat currency. Now, that's a harder sell today. Today it is. I'm not saying it won't happen. Again, like I said earlier in the video, that's a harder sell today. So XRP, the cryptocurrency that is best positioned, one of the most liquid cryptocurrencies on the planet for this particular use case. It's right there, staring us in the face. And again, AMB Crypto, they want to talk about like 30-second candles on the price action of XRP when it goes, it went down over the last 30 seconds. Okay, well, thank you for nothing, AMB Crypto. But I would tell you over the long haul, should this persist, I think that XRP is going to be worth a freaking fortune, which is why I've been excited and in this space for over half a decade and in the XRP community, being consistent on that, because that's the direction that we're going. We're just early. We are very early here. But look, when it comes to investing, it pays to be early. So I will be as patient as I need to because I see where all of this is going. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.